Good evening. Fnatic have just pocketed themselves 2 maps here at the ESL Pro League, and we've got another 2 to look forward to. This time, different teams. We get the French squad, G2, now going up against Dignitas, and I've got myself, Chad Birchall, and Lauren Panty-Scott joining me. I purged the sponge. Does that make you happy?
Thank you very much.
I got him covered. He was like, look, genuinely came to be like, yo, just, I mean, I don't mind, but just don't call me Sponge. First thing I do, Sponge is here on the desk.
Lovely.
I'm a horrible human being. So, G2 Dignitas. Now, this is I was going to say an interesting matchup, but I always feel like that's a bit of a cop-out. I just want to kind of back up that statement this time by saying that G2 have been on everyone's radar for an awful long time, and they have been yet to replicate the success they found at ECS. I mean, that was the big one. Shox has still got holding that trophy at ECS, a pinned tweet. You know, he's sitting there like, that's the success they want to replicate. Now, is this something that's on the cards in the coming months? Is this a squad you believe can go ahead and kind of start pushing for that top spot, Spud? I was about to call you Sponge. Spud? Spad.
That's okay. Spunk is also...
oh, there it is.
There it is.
Your old man told you not to say naughty words, and you just said spunk.
It's good looking. That's another term for... Are you using it
spunky.
wrong?
Yes, he's right. He's got me there.
Why have you got a dirty mind?
No,
Anyway, let's talk about the game.
thanks.
Yeah. Thanks for
answer my question. Answer my question.
So I think G2
yes.
need Shox to be God Shox. I think a few of their players down the lower end of their stats hinder them quite a lot.
Don't sugarcoat it.
We're not
Why are you being
names.
so mean to Smiths?
We're on this desk for a reason.
No, I think Shox needs to make up for some of his teammates underperforming.
Okay.
And when he plays like a god, they're going to keep winning. You saw him basically carry his team to the final of the Star Ladder on the weekend.
Yeah.
And we actually had this exact same matchup on these exact same maps, actually. And it was close.
It was a close game. I think people don't often give maybe Dignitas the credit they deserve. I think they're actually quite a talented team. I think we're seeing it more and more, obviously, prevalently. Now that you've got Cbble coming in, people are actually going, okay, these guys can really play. You saw it, I think, predominantly on maps like Mirage, classically, because everyone looked at them like, oh, they've got these quite quirky strategies.
Sure.
And now it's like, okay, well, those quirky strategies now have seemed like they've got longevity to them. People don't just work them out and go, well, this is just how you counter it really quickly. People have actually had to respect this a little bit. So I'm really glad to see that. And again, like looking at G2, as you said, the lineup, you know, they do have a bit of a top-heavy lineup. I feel that, you know, they have the potential within, you know, Scream and Shox, obviously, just to go off at any point and they become this big beast. But the player who's actually stood out to me recently was Body more than anyone. A player, when he first joined, got a lot of criticism going, you know, is he really the man you want to be coming into this? And I think as of late, he's actually been providing a lot of the kind of close to a lot of the rounds. So the way he's been playing out a lot of the kind of clutch situations, he'll come back in and play it really well. He'll be often like last alive almost in those situations, but he does actually nail it a lot of the time, and I've been slowly becoming more and more impressed with him. But
I mean, you've highlighted G2's recent success. I mean, you already said that they got to the final convincingly. They played Dignitas as well, and it was a very close game. Do you not think that G2 having a close game against Dignitas is less of praise to G2, but more credit to Dignitas, just because of the kind of bumpy ride that they've been experiencing recently?
Well, you have to obviously give Dignitas props.
Yeah.
I think for their recent roster changes, we've seen Cajun come in and Magic's Boy, and they're both explosive players who can potentially be stars for that team. So I think their firepower has grown a lot recently, and Cajun looks like the star of that team, which is great. He probably had a lot of roles taken away from him in Australis, you know, probably things that he could have done, which were given to Device, and now we're seeing him get a shot at those in Dignitas, so it's great to see.
But when you say there's like probably 3 names that you've come out in Dignitas in terms of like the big players, you've got Rubino and MSL as these kind of backbones, and then all 3 of them. I mean, Config was always such an exciting prospect, Lauren. Have we seen that exciting Config?
Consistently, probably no.
Yeah.
I think we do again get the highlight reel occasionally from him, which is brilliant. I'm a huge fan of Config. When he first joined, kind of in towards the higher end of the Danish scene, it was just like, wow, this guy, you know, big credit. I think it was during the Barcelona event you really started to see him really come into his own. But for me, Magisk again is, as you highlighted, very explosive, but it's unstable. It's not like you can go, he will perform X amount of times. I don't feel like you can ever give him like that sweeping statement yet, because he was one of the big players. You know, like you mentioned, I think it was AZ earlier on the desk coming in, and it was like, all right, this is the big talent now. I think Magisk wasn't far behind that. Obviously, very different levels if you look at them now, but back then, everyone was looking at Magisk going, this guy is super talented, huge talent coming through, but since he joined Dig, I don't think we've seen it as much as I'd like to have. And I know he's one of those. It's always the case. Config is the same. They're always very critical of themselves. They have, you know, they read these tales of grandeur and this lot of community hype around them, and they kind of sometimes believe their own hype, and it can affect them when they don't perform. But this is an emotional player thing. I'm sure you understand this more than anyone. Yeah, it's like when you're an emotional player, which you know these young guys are, it will get to them in the best ways and the worst ways. You know, you get the highest highs and you get the lowest lows. So I think you see that through his game. And we have definitely seen that. Wonder if we'll see it today. That is the question. Again, it seems like it's going to
going to be a brief analyst segment. Chad, just quickly, just a couple of bookends for us. Your prediction. Dignitas, G2, they've played recently. Does that affect it at all? And your prediction?
I think Cbble being the first one, that's right. It's a map that MSL is comfortable on. If he can be comfortable and make his instinct calls, they have a shot at having another close map. But I think G2 are going to be a bit more dominant than the last time they met and take this one.
More dominant than last time. I think it was 16-12 or 16-13. I have it in front of me. Where is it? 16. Okay, 13. 16-13 previously. Lauren, you going to stick to the G2 guns?
I'm going to give Dig a little bit of a chance on Cbble here, just because I think G2's CT side had been really flawed until they went to the offline event. They didn't look that good online. They turned it around offline, but it was back online. Things changed.
Things have changed. Let's jump in and see if this rematch does go the way the analysts think, or if the casters are going to have something else to say. It's Henry G and Sadikis. I was about to say similar to cast this one.
Someone couldn't make it.
I'm far better looking anyway, so that's fine. And I don't even need a fancy suit to do it. So, Cobblestone, Shox' playground, 30+ kills.
And we're live, by the way, so we're straight into it. So we'll discuss things later. It's going to be a fast play towards long.
I want to discuss them now, Henry.
We can. We'll get to it, but it's going to be a smoke towards connector. And G2, Shox, here he comes. He's rotating in, and we're about to kick off, Matthew.
I don't know about kicking, but we are going to click some mouse buttons. That's what Smiths is going to try and do toward Stable. He goes down low immediately. Matchday got 2 body. Answering 1 back. Shox, we saw him get a lovely 4-man spray down from this position. He likes to transfer over into the open to commit to the drop early when they rotate. He'll do the same thing with the pistols. Gets 2 kills overall in the round, but Cbble, his last victim, gets avenged by Config. It leaves it to a 1-on-1. Bomb picked up as well. He's going to try and wrap back around toward the B site. Scream spots him up in the process, so now straight up brawl. Still a minute on the clock, and Config's got the kills. So Dignitas start off well. They get the pistol rounds. I don't know that it will be as clear-cut. I know Chad's thinking it'll be worse online. I think that Shox was a big part of the Cobblestone factor, so it's kind of a one-man wrecking crew.
He had one of the best performances of his career, I'd say, at this event, especially in this game. He was an absolute monster. This is one of Dignitas' best maps. If Shox isn't playing at that sort of level, there's no reason why they can't take it. Even with Shox at that sort of peak, it was a 16-13 game, right? And now Dignitas picked up the pistol as well. Good work from Config there to finish things off against Scream. Good movement and good awareness, actually finding the kill towards the end. It's going to be a semi-forced buy from GTA. Just shot Smiths, of course, the AWPer. Not really purchasing anything. We have got the Deagles and 5.7s, no grenades. Config, though, boosted, waiting for that first kill. Just seeing what the CTs are bringing to the table at the start of the round. It will be that aggressive face from Shox. It's taken down. Body looking to replicate it as well, seeing if you can be a little bit more successful here.
Deagle shot nearly hits the first, actually does hit with the second. Config gets tagged down to 34, but it wasn't the lovely headshot that we often look for in these situations. MSL is going to have the UMP watching behind, drop that passive hold that we talk about. If you're going to give it up, you got to hold it off. And MSL with the lurky does exactly that. Cuts off body and Scream as they try and rotate through. Leaving that window still open was problematic for the CTs as Smith's now in a 1 versus 5. Boosted up. He's got no more friends left alive to help him out of this situation, though.
I know how he feels.
Yeah, I imagine you do.
But you're my friend, aren't you?
We're colleagues.
Strictly professional.
Yeah, it's a different word, but that's what we are.
Okay, fair enough. I'll take it. I'll take anything I can get.
Smiths. Yeah. Let's see if he gets a headshot. Well, I don't know, they already know where he is. They've already spotted him. They're not going to fall for that so easily.
Well then, we have got some time now. This is the redundant round, so let's kind of theorize what the points we're going to make before the game. This is actually one of my favorite maps to watch Dignitas play. I think they're very good at it, especially the T side. I think they have a great approach to it as a whole. The way they play the T side is actually my favorite kind of school of CS to go about it. Like having very set smokes to actually get you the map control you require, pushing the CDs back, taking a lot of vision away at the start. It means the CDs have to expend their own utility to try and get that back. Dignitas are very good at getting the mid control and towards long A. They don't necessarily commit to that part of the map either. They're good at timings and having presence towards B at the same time and keeping their options open. That's why I think they're so good at this map. So getting this pistol and the second round anti-eco as well is so beneficial for them going forward. It limits the utility for the CTs in that first gun round, means a 5-0 is very possible. They won't be able to incendiaries, maybe no kits, and maybe no head armor. That's been a massive talking point of the LAN we were just at. A lot of teams saving these UMPs and the MAC-10s and then the CTs not having head armor is actually a really influential part of the game.
Well, it's going to be just Scream left alive now as we spotted it for a moment there. MSL hunting down Smiths, who is still over toward the A site. 3-0 Dignitas, straightforward on the start. But now G2 will pull out the weapons and an AWP immediately onto Smiths. Goes for, as you say, no head armor, so just the chest armor, but that means the UMPs can be carried over. The MAC-10's a little bit different on Cajun. Doesn't quite have the same chest penetration, but it's still decent against heads.
Yeah,
you can
absolutely.
find them.
If you're going towards drop down, you're obviously coming in top of players. It's crazy what you can do with these SMGs. They win this round. They're in such a fantastic position going forward. They can keep the SMGs again, going to round number 5 against the Eco. But this is important. Smith's got the AWP. You can see not a single kit here. This is why it's a big round for the terrorists. Going fast towards B, it seems. All 5 players committed to this side of the map. Going to be smoked out for now, but you can see they're actually setting up the wall of smokes. I like this. You've got the SMGs running gun potential and pushing through, making things uncomfortable. It rains down smokes. What's the reaction from the CTs? Not really much to work with in terms of incendiary to slow them down. There's no full commitment here. They've actually gone back towards drop down. This is an interesting approach. Putting smokes down to make it look like you're coming towards B, but coming in from this angle, there's the SMG. The headshot takes down the unarmored head of Smiths.
Shox, though, does spray 2 back. It's the M4, but it's going to have to be body. Step up. He gets trapped on the statue and isolated by the smokes. He's only able to dance around to catch 1. He can't find Rubino, who's pushed up. And exactly that, the headshot. I can see you throwing your arms in the air, but Rubino gets caught trying to grab the bomb and going for a reload, not anticipating RPK on the flank that early. And G2 does pick up the first gun.
They pick it up, but they're still in a horrible position, even though they won the round, right? But only 1 player surviving. Look at the buy in the screen right now for Dignitas. It's a full buy. They went, that's the bonus round, right? So they had SMGs, MAC-10s, they were trying to farm money. They got kills there as well. So they get 5 AKs, full range of utility as well. Let's have a look at the CT buy. They just won a round. A MAC-7, 2 UMPs, only 1 kit. Once again, a player of our head armor, lacking grenades. They lose this, it's a double eco for sure. So Dignitas still in a fantastic position. They're still in maybe a stronger position than they were in the previous round.
Keep in mind as well, I don't know if it was mentioned on the desk or not, Dignitas are still in Kiev right now. They are at the Cyber Arena at a boot camp. So
rest, right?
That is correct. Smith's shotgun goes ahead and takes the shot because he takes some damage from Cbble, so the trigger discipline play wouldn't work. He was spot up, had to do what he could, but Body's going to do better than that. What? 3 kills, 2 of them headshots, UMP all the way through, and it's going to be just the pistol left in terms of ammo, which gives Config a chance at this, but he goes down eventually after finding 2.
Well, it's a pretty simple B approach from Dignitas there, but overlooking that broken wall position, allowing Smith to get the initial kill. He got a lot of the attention, and then the UMP pushing through the smoke. Very important for Body to do that. He gets 3 kills in the end. What a fantastic move that was from him. You've got to ask yourself, why are you forcing that plant down before you get the frags? Is it that important? And you haven't got any real information as to what's going on. You want to probably wait a little bit longer, see what the reaction is from the CTs. Make sure it's safe, and you've got the crossfire established, then you go for the plant. They rushed it, no one's actually covering the bomb, and he gets taken down, and it all falls apart from there. Difficult round for them to swallow, but they still have money available here. Cajun people from the York, no less, as well. So this goes to show how successful those first 2 rounds were. CT's still recovering. You see SMG on the hands of Smiths, same for Body as well. They do have more grenades this time. They're still having to work on the back foot here in terms of the weaponry.
So smokes off from RPK, flash, double check. He wants to try and bait them around this corner, so not spotting anyone to low, lower mid immediately. He's got to try and consider elsewhere. They do have a push down at the bottom of the ramp as well, so it's a crossfire setup, but RPK is going to win it. Distract baited his other teammate. It's Shox, not Smiths, who therefore does get overlooked in the fact that there's already 2 showing mid. This is a good setup from G2. As Rubino gets obliterated by Scream at the bottom, trying to lurk in and go for that A split.
This isn't the Dignitas I'm used to watching on Cbble, you know. They seem very focused on forcing a situation in their favor. That one before, they're trying to rush the bomb plant down. That's not a composed team in that situation. That's someone who's panicking slightly and trying to end things as quickly as possible. You don't know what to do next. You just go for the plant, the bomb, right? This round, at the start of the game, I even said that they're very good at taking mid-control, long A. They're very methodical about it. They're just straight up rushing this time, and G2 are out-aiming them in every scenario. Very quick. They're not what we're used to seeing from them. And this time it's another eco, and Smiths, aggressive of course, pushes towards middle using that smoke, just to peek over towards the top of middle, gets the first kill on towards MSL. Establish that it is an eco, saw the pistol in the hand of the player. And now they can fall back. Work's done at this point, don't need to overcommit. Play at the back of the bomb sites, make their final move, then you can rotate over. Don't want to give anything away at this point. You can see no one's playing towards drop down. You don't even want to give them an opportunity to make these pistols have any sort of potential.
The potential's there for a Deagle at a range like that, and not often you see an RNG-style headshot come out from a Deagle. Usually at that point, panic spray, body shots, that's all that you really get, but he finds a headshot somehow, and doesn't leave him long for life in this world, though, because Shox comes back around, takes what little HP he did have left away with the AK, spots Cbble, surely, yes it did, inside of that smoke, gonna throw the bomb forward as well. And he'll have seen that. If he didn't, it's far enough forward. Well, either way, in the smoke, it's gonna be shown on the radar. Shox will get taken down by Rubino, and all of this chaos, we didn't mention Boy, who's managed to come out of the drop room, putting pressure on Body, and he can't figure out which way to look. That gives Rubino the kill. It's all onto Smiths with an AWP.
What a turn of events this has been. Rubino looking to close things out, actually facing towards the upper platform. Smiths to the AWP, takes him down. Boy, a very talented individual, 25 seconds to work with. Has managed to pick up the bomb as well. Smiths unaware of the situation, knows it was dropped, but now the plant comes in. At least he has some idea as to where Matchday will be, but so much time gathered with this wall coming into the side. Base comes in, Matchday will get the better of him as well. So a big round for Dignitas to pick up. They didn't really have to invest too much into that. They lost that initial pick towards middle from Smiths as well. I thought that was round completely over at that stage, but somehow they find something with the Desert Eagles, get into the side, a plant comes in as well. They take the lead back, 4-3 here. All back in the hands of Cbble, but it's a double orb setup on Cbble on the CT side. Well, we've discussed this, well, we've discussed it, what, 20 times probably. The double orb setup being probably the least viable, I'd say, in the map pool. But let's see if they can make it work for themselves. The idea is basically, before it's established, that's when it's great. But it's when you work it out, you can actually counter it quite easily. But there it is. MSL, was that through the smoke or through the door?
That was through the smoke. They heard him fire one shot, and they just fired back into it, and they caught him. So RPK is going to pick up that AWP. He's left his M4 well and truly behind as well, so he's committed to it. It's not like he can swap back if the situation becomes grim. Ooh, that smoke nearly gone. Does spot it, and thankfully there's a meat shield as Cbble was showing in the open. They both get tagged. I think it was a double lag, if I'm not mistaken, as Rubino got hit in all of this. And 7 HP still for Shox. One nade, one bullet through the box, and he's going to go down, but they will not confront. They can't afford to give up the man advantage that early, that easily. As G2 starts to cover off the drop room, position of body, and that's going to give a smoke off to the window. He'll fade away off this, but it is just all for sale at this point. They've fallen back, and with 57 seconds, they're going to start to look back over toward the A site, potentially, with bomb inside of the B tunnels.
4 on 3. Time to work with as well here. The man advantage. Dignitas don't need to overcommit. They're just waiting for the CT to go hunting at this point.
And they've all rotated, actually. So they actually thought Body heard them go back after the utility went out of drop. He's called that it was a fake. It's actually not. They're just biding time.
Well, at this point, you've got those double orbs. You know the bomb's down in B. You've got no presence there whatsoever. Do you just save the weaponry? You can see they're not even considering going to B. They're just hoping this kind of falls into them. They can have these turrets set up. Once the bomb's planted, what's the play at that point? You haven't got any grenades. You've got 2 orbs. You're going to be smoked out of position as well. Cbble still has a smoke. Shock 7 and I think this is automatic save. Yep, there it is. So it was a bit of a gamble. They were hoping that somehow they would come toward that A site and they could use the double orbs to their full potential, but it's a nice read by Dignitas, getting in there pretty slowly, taking every sector piece by piece there. I think that's the kind of Dignitas I'm used to seeing, and being very efficient in taking it as well. So this is a guaranteed round for them at this stage. CT saving towards long A. And judging by the money for the terrorists, it's probably not really worth the hunt. Losing any rifles at this stage will be pretty detrimental to them just as much as it is to the CTs. But they have reset them at least. So
yeah.
It's going to be 3 weapons surviving, but the other 2 won't really be able to buy into the next round. Double
well,
up,
I
so.
imagine they'll force whatever they can around this double up setup.
But that's in this scenario, that's when the double orbs are quite tantalizing now, right? Because you can have one towards A, one towards B. They need to be hunting for frags.
RPK and Scream, the 2 players you mentioned that won't have any money. Deagle for Scream, maybe? Not even. I think he's just going to sit completely. He's got to get some armor at least to go with this in case they get early kills and pick up a gun. Doesn't even try that. So he's going to go completely free and clear of any utility aside from a single flashbang. I would have thought at least armor potential if they get kills.
That's Shox just trying to find this first frag. They know they're up against the ropes here. So hunting for a kill, and it's going to be Smiths actually landing the shot as well, but can't find the frag. So at least gathered there was a boost going on there, but doesn't really get too much for it, unfortunately. It was a nice play from Smith to begin with.
Smith's is waiting for that opportunity to present itself again. Fires into where the booster would be. Missed shot from Shox. Able to jump forward. It's an awkward exchange, but Config wins it. So now one of the 2 ops gone already, and Smith is going to continue to try and spam into that position behind the box and find the kill. But while this is all going on, they're slowly getting map control on the T side. They pushed up to the corner at long. It's going to be Config there with an AWP. I want to go back on Cbble now. It becomes a factor, though, because Smith's hitting Rubino. They've got a man advantage to work with once more. 2 rifles against now what is an op and 2 AKs and Scream. He's got nothing, remember, to work with aside from a flash, but he does have position. He's going to try and use that USB from far as well. He's going to peek out, but RPK, his pistol inefficient toward the doorway.
That's better.
Just, yeah, he's taken down quite low. In fact, Scream, he's going to try and shuffle this up. He's got it down, and Smith is showing up. That AWP's come into play. Config, he's now in a 1 versus 2, and he's limited off toward the stable. Scream, he wants a gun out of this, but he can't find one. There's not one that close to him just yet. They're still on the other side of the APC, so he's going to have to sit and bait this out with just the pistol. Remember, no armor, so Config, easy kill, but it's on to Smith to close the round with 20 seconds, and another potential situation as Config gets in behind the hut, but he wants to take the fight. It's going to catch Smiths off, nearly takes him down 15 HP. Now the bomb's going to be committed. 11 seconds. Smiths, he can't get the AWP in a position to find him, and in behind the hut, Config now knows where he is, AK redrawn, and if Smiths doesn't hit the perfect shot with that AWP, he goes down in this situation on only 15 HP. Head showing, Config does not need to peek this. He's going to wait it out as well. Smith's no kit, so he does have to act fairly quick. Tries the pistol fake, tries to get fancy. He doesn't even really need to at that point. As Smith, well and truly in the open, it's going to be 5-3 in favor, rather, excuse me, 6-3 in favor of Dignitas.
Decent clutch from Config. He felt like he took a few too many risks there. You can see Smiths couldn't really work as much, just hoping that Config gave him a target to shoot at, which he did multiple times, but just couldn't land the shot there. Big round to pick up, though. Config finds 4 kills up against it, gets the bomb down, and CT's very close to winning the round. Scream especially, what great work that was with the USP. That's all he had to actually bring to the party, and manages to do a lot of damage there. But we're going to round number 10. Money available for the CTs, but not much. It's 5 and 4s again. No kits, no incendiary, so just trying to do something at the start of the round. We talk about Cbble being one of those maps. Options are very limited. We discussed this in the first game of the day. You can either boost towards drop down, stack towards long A. There's not really much you can do to actually be quite proactive at the start of the round. So Smith's a little bit more aggressive here, trying to find that first pick and hopefully be backed up as well. But his teammate is RPK, who's alone by Cbble. So at this stage, he needs to step up. He's got 2 flashes remaining. What's the option?
Well, Smiths is playing shallow side of the entrance at the bottom of middle, which a little bit easier to check. Less commitment involved from the Ts who have control of danger as we see it through the X-ray. Cage and B slowly coming back over toward this A side as well, given that they've got long in the bottom of drop. 40 seconds. We just start to get the action. Cajun goes, they check the wrong side. They anticipate it wrong. Oh, do they ever, Smiths? That's a gift. They all go. No one even considers it. You'd think with a second or third man in, someone would glance on the off corner, but no one does. He picks up 3. It's down to Rubino and Config to pull this back. Remember, Cajun got the first kill, so bomb picked up. But look at this rotation. Body. He's got damage in. Bomb down. 21 seconds, and Rubino with a lot of ground to try and cover. And I highly... well, doubt it. And there you go. Shocks will close it out. Smiths, though, what a spray down.
Just one mistake is all it takes. And Dignitas have been calling them out for having an amazing T-side here, but they have made some pretty shocking mistakes going forward. Didn't check that left-hand corner. I just don't think Smiths could believe his luck there. The time was running out. You see Dignitas had to make that move. Normally, that position is only good for 1 kill, but if they line up like that for you, you are going to find 3, and that's the savior for GT going forward. Money's still available for Dignitas, though. The AWP in the hands of Cajun B, but he is glass cannon. And RPK's only got a 5-7 here, so this is a big breaking point for either team. Whoever loses this round is going to be Eco. And Smiths now, AWP in his hand. He's actually towards long A. That's where the bomb will be heading. He's not really facing an aggressive angle here towards the start of the round. He's looking for that first kill, give him an option to fall back. His teammate will be watching towards mid. That's RPK on the outer side of the stable. We have got a little boost towards drop down here. This is one of the options I discussed before, where you don't have much to work with. Trying to hum this first frag. Shock's going for that kind of surprise mentality. He's peeking every now and then and hoping someone walks and just across there. Matchday predicts it, though, and takes him down.
Certainly does. Puts us in a precarious position as they have to try and pull back from long corner without the control of the top of that ramp. And rotation's not quite getting there in time because they have a sense that there might be something going on toward B, and that's actually not a bad read from G2 as Rubino starts to walk out toward that smoke. Config, this is interesting. Dignitas is trying to take every bit of the map that they can. Late lurk, hold the CTs down. They've got a 2-man advantage, so if they find another kill, that's pretty much the round done, and Config does exactly that. But we do have our favorite position held from Scream, and will they check it? MSL certainly does.
I think at that point you have to.
Well, they've already got A.
Yeah, right. And the idea is we've had some blunders before, forcing the plant down. Let's check everything first before we get the bomb, and we'll be okay. Had they not checked that before planting, I think I would have been just as tilted as they would be. But it's going to be round number 12, and this is the Eco, as I mentioned. So they're actually partially investing into what's last stage out. So it's 1 round so far. So they can't even buy the second. So they brought some deagles, some body armor. They're going to be, yeah, definitely go after this round as well, unless they're going to force him with shotguns.
Oh, there we go, Scream. I was going to say his teammate almost gets in his way and body blocks him from hitting the shot toward long position. RPK and Smith's picking up kills as well. They do decent damage to the economy. They still keep that AWP in the hands of Config. They'll pull that over, but it is 8-4 for Dignitas. Very fast round.
Very fast round. Dignitas is going straight towards B. Getting things done there. They're obviously controlling the economy. They know just as well as we do. After winning one round, you are fully reset, and they were limited with that buy before anyway. So sticking together as a 5-man unit towards B, it's pretty low risk, considering unless you run into a full stack, you're still probably going to lock it down regardless. But there's an Eagle now, and head armor for Scream, so his money must be higher than the rest of them. Yeah, he's got himself down to that 2.2k. He's only on 4 for 10, actually, in terms of frags. Interesting, he bought head armor when he knows he's up against AKs. Didn't really get the kills last round.
Oof, MSL. Quick and easy assassination of Shock, according to the Ukrainian fans. Remember? You don't remember that?
Say again.
Don't worry about it. Rubino, the guy with the shine that said Shock instead of Shocks.
Oh right, yeah. I said he's probably not his biggest fan.
Yeah. It was cute. Language barrier somewhere in there, I'm sure, but pretty straightforward as they cannot afford the weapons on this G2 side. But I think Lauren hit the nail on the head, and we touched on it a few times as well. At LAN, they did have a great CT side. They stepped up. They had Shocks going absolutely mental in that sense. But
yeah,
here we are again online, and G2's CT side struggling.
Yeah, absolutely. And they won the Auspice, of course, but then they had 3 rounds in a row. They were looking to get in the swing of things, but ever since then, the money's been a problem, and they tried that double orb setup. That didn't really amount to too much, and Dignitas keeping 5 players alive in this round as well, so the money will go into this next one. They should have a decent buy G2. Definitely not over yet. It's definitely a T-sided map still, but yes, you're right. That CT side looked phenomenal on LAN, and especially on this map as well. Shoxy going absolutely wild. It's everywhere it went, everywhere it rotated. It was finding multiple kills and big retakes. It was beautiful at times to watch how well he was playing. And today, it's not really a bad game. It's 8 for 9, you know. It's not terrible, but it's certainly not the godlike levels we're used to. He was getting 20 frags a half.
Yeah, 37 kills.
Yeah.
Him and Kenny just trading blows back and forth.
Yeah, that was such a good game, wasn't it?
Was a great game.
But
Can I just say it's nice to be back on Sennheiser headsets?
It is. My ears don't hurt. They're not sweating.
Yeah, my voice sounds normal.
But to be fair, there's 2 very different styles of CS we were watching in that game, particularly. Dignitas has a much slower, more methodical team. Envious versus G2. It's difficult to take that much away from it, right? Because obviously they're both just brawling at it and going out head to head every time, trying to counter each other. A lot of mind games going on. And Shock just looked in his element at that point. But, you know, we're going to round number 14. All back in the hands of Smiths. Playing much more passive game, so he's actually towards APC, looking to reposition himself though. It's going to be, this is the take I'm talking about from Dignitas. They're normally very good at getting themselves in this position. Not committing towards long A, but just getting control of it, pushing the CDs back in middle as well, getting a smoke towards connector, and just pushing the CDs back to the complete bomb sub. But you have got a little stack coming this time, a boost towards mid.
Well, and the issue with this boost, as we know, is that you have to keep eyes on long. So they have to make sure that they hold the corner, because if they don't, RPK is a sitting duck. He just gets basically flanked out.
This is the opposite approach, right? So they've got Smiths actually watching towards mid, and RPK's watching long. This is actually kind of interesting, because no one can come up middle, because Smiths has got that aggressive angle onto it. And we go to RPK right now and watch what he's doing. He's got long A. This is actually kind of nice. Actually,
yeah, I don't mind it.
I don't mind it.
Yeah, and you are far enough around the corner, but it does rely on them committing fully all the way in. And Smiths, he's not going to get that opportunity to try and spot them at the bottom of middle just yet. Rubino is going to go on the lurk to start it off, and okay, actually, look at the minimap now. The timing is there. Shocks has just rotated over. I was going to say the timing would have been perfect because Smiths wouldn't have been ready for it, but he does hit MSL. Now RPK with that smoke down needs to watch both directions because Smiths has fallen back. He's found it, immediately jumps down, but he actually had Config behind him for the taking. It Shocks instead. That's rotated over behind the hut. He'll get a little bit hot and, well, too hard to handle in a moment's time as Config is going to get the kill, and now the late lurk comes to play as body falls. Cajun, though, needs to go back to try and get this bomb at RPK. Not ready for him to push through, but does react in time with that Tech 9 going in your face like that. You always get scared, but it's Rubino at least to make it a one-on-one. Exactly that. 2 seconds, 28 HP. Needs to stay alive for the money, but he'll do so because Scream rotated out of B and went immediately toward the bomb instead.
So that setup actually paid dividends, really. RPK getting 3 kills in the end. So we explained what that setup was meant to do. Came to a very close round in the end, but I still feel like they wasted a lot of time. I think Dignitas trying to work out what was going on exactly. Didn't work out perfectly how we kind of set it up, set the scene, and RPK did get that kill towards middle, dropped the bomb, pushed down and got it behind them as well. But we'll be round number 15 here. After the CT's won that round, they're still struggling in terms of the money. There's Famous, UMP, Famous, and Smiths now does open things up. I guess that's towards Broken Wall once again. It's actually towards Long A. How has that gone down? So you must have gone right at the start and taken Config who was rushing, I guess.
Well,
He must have just straight up rushed it. Maybe look.
Go find the body. I missed it as well as I was watching over toward the B site.
Yeah, so he did. He went fast towards long A by himself, and actually right by the main choke point, got taken down.
With a AK-47 and a flashbang there for the take.
And Smith didn't pick it up. He's got the hell out of there.
Well, the shotgun's lovely, but Cajun.B, he's going to go for shock style-esque and go down into a drop to enter with an AWP. Cajun. He's going to look for another shot toward Chicken Coop as well as he re-peeks out, though he's not even sure where he's being shot from because the shock's clipping him through the wall and he's scoped in so he can't quite see. Shock's, meanwhile, going to rotate back over toward these stairwells. Spotted. A little bit late, though. Is MSL going to respawn in time? Certainly does. He's the one carrying the bomb as well, so important that he stays up. I mentioned that shotgun for Smiths. He's now traded over to his customary AWP after taking down Cajun.B, but that AWP, round 15, as tantalizing as it is, he's going to have to try and use it. He's going to have to go for it. Bomb planted as well, and Dignitas will 10-5 the half against G2. We said the CT side might be a bit of a struggle for G2.
Yeah, that was a bit of a struggle, wasn't it? So they lost a pistol, didn't get that good start they were normally looking for, go down 3-0, and then all of a sudden they can't really string rounds together. Every time they're winning one, they're getting reset afterwards. Double AWP setup comes in at one point. Doesn't actually work out too well for them. Dignitas is running over them pretty much throughout that first half. 5 rounds, though, it's enough. For a team like GT, I'm sure they can bounce back. But can they do it? We'll find out after this break.
Well, welcome back, guys. We're getting ready to jump back into a 10-5 for Dignitas at the start of this. Someone pointed out something interesting that we didn't catch. Good eye for them as well. 120 ping for Shocks.
Yeah, going to be difficult to really get firing on all cylinders with that, but still, I do believe 5 rounds is going to be enough for a team like G2. They win the pistol, all bets are off. We're back into it.
Could be so. I think on the T side, we saw some explosive play from them throughout the course of the 5-day. I always want to say weekend, as if a tournament's a weekend thing. It's not anymore. It's a 5-day affair at Star Ladder, but they showed some good T sides, and part of it was Shocks, though, so I'm a little bit curious to see how it goes. They are, again, a team that is reliant on aim and individual skill. RPK on this map is another guy that comes to mind, though. He's actually subtle, but continues on, and is usually pretty consistent. Yeah, absolutely. He's a very consistent player overall. Very reliable and always seems to deliver. Smith seems to be the headline act for G2 at the moment. 15 kills for him, considering the scoreline. That's nuts. But Config on the other side, 20 kills in 1 half. That's always going to be a great performance. Round number 1 comes in. No Deagle for Scream, which is uncharacteristic considering what we've seen recently. But 4 sets of armor this time. Body with the smoke and 2 flashbangs. Looks like a mid-take coming in. Magisto, he's ready for it. Looking for the 1 taps as they will be flashing in before they go for the mid-control shortly. Or not, just going to be walking around. Walking around is not a bad idea. Just keep walking.
MSL, that was an overcommitment of anything. Your teammates fall back. Why are you staying?
Yeah, completely on his own. No refrag. Shock's going to get Rabito. This is going to be a problem now for Dignitas. This is a massive problem. Unless Magicboy can go up with something absolutely crazy. Does hit one headshot. No trade yet, Body. Does get him back. There was full HP to try and go back into another exchange for Magic, but Bomb only dropped temporarily. And Config caught in the middle of a blender as to his Cbble as they tried to just sit on the ramp and wait it out. But good start, as you say. Get the pistol. Now we're on the T side. G2, they can start to really build up some rounds. I think the interesting thing will be how aggressive G2, or excuse me, how aggressive Dignitas get in the force buy, because they've got a decent lead still, and it should only go to 10-8 in all of this.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out for them. But we certainly have a game on our hands here. Dignitas picked it up, potentially going to be 13-5 at that point, and going to be quite an easy game for Dignitas to close out. Now G2 will be actually getting closer and closer. It should be a pretty clean cut affair here. But you can see 5 SMGs once again. This is what we saw from G2 throughout that tournament. It's an interesting approach, and one that goes against everything we've understood about CSGO in the last few years. You always want to have 2 rifles. That's what the standard approach has been ever since CSGO has really arrived. SMGs are absolutely fine, but 5 of them, it seems like you're risking quite a lot here out in those AKs, a real long range with potential to shut down the Deagles in some situation, but this can't really be shut down. Shots coming from Connector, perfectly played as he does find the first kill and gets the rotators. Will he be able to find the kill too? Just about, he cannot, but Rubino going to be picking up the kill to him and Scream joining in with the MVP.
Problem was for Shocks to get a little awkward in that corner because he didn't have the ammo to just run and gun like the gun's made to do. He had to try and line them up effectively, but it doesn't matter. He gets all the information, cuts them off. Also, as you saw when he walked back out, spotted the player in the corner at the bottom of the ramp, so no traps could be set. And Dignitas now will have to sit and chill out. Yeah, that cable loves you. That headset's so twisted. I see what you're trying to do. I don't think it's going to work.
No, it's not. Yeah, the cables are twisted, so it all wraps around me. But I'm going to hold it. It's going to be fine.
All right. I think that's not a bad idea.
Right, so this is the redundant round where the CTs don't really have anything to work with here. You see not a single thing purchased, a P2000 for USPs. This is a perfect chance for G2 to farm a load of money. Every kill is going to get them $600 at this point. And it'll be interesting. They probably won't lose a frag. In terms of the upgrades, do they just bring an AWP out to accompany them and maybe 1 AK? Or they keep the 5 SMGs? We're about to find out, Matthew.
I can't imagine on a map like Cobblestone you keep 5 SMGs. Unless you go 5 men down drop. Or like 3 down drop, bust out too long.
The CTs didn't exactly force into the second round. They were quite passive at that. So they're going to keep 5 SMGs. They notice as well, Dignitas. Surely you can't win this round.
No, there's no way with head armor. The MAC-10s are the killer. I mean, UMP does have the highest armor penetration of any SMG. We talk about that occasionally. Even then, it's not great. So, all right. I want to see them be like killer bees and just swarm right now. Go straight Method Man and Red Man on them.
So there's a one flash, and everyone just jumps around the corner of the MAC-10s.
Yeah, just go. You got to do it. And then straight Foon to the site.
Here we go.
2 already in, but they're pushing MSL back. He doesn't know yet that it's just going to be SMGs. That's going to be impossible. All right, they do get it back because they've got 4 people there, but distance covered off. Smith's actually hits a headshot with MSL on that MAC-10, but they are still getting going down. I'm not surprised. The SMGs couldn't really do much. In those long-range battles, they just get slowed down on the way to stables. They can't sit and fight. They've got to get up close.
I guess any kills there are valuable, though. If they got 1 more, I'd say that's actually a really good round, considering they're going to have a ton of money going into this one to shut down the CTs in that manner, just to bleed them out in terms of the money game. But you can see Dignitas keeping those 3 alive. It's actually a pretty reasonable investment. The thing is, as well, it was more beneficial for G2 on the first half because, well, sorry, more beneficial for Dignitas in the first half because we saw them actually going against unarmored heads. And they didn't actually force too much into the second half here, so they actually were pretty well protected. We go into this first gun round. G2, ton of cash. There's going to be 5 rifles, no orbs coming in. Same story for Dignitas, but they have got grenades. A lot to hold them off with for now. So default of MSL holding towards danger. His teammate Magicboy a little bit more aggressive towards mid as he's in the danger room right now.
Shots just pecking through the doorway. Quick flash round to make sure they get out toward long more effectively. And RPK is normally quite good at getting out of middle. This time he gets caught by Magicboy after he jumps in. Doesn't see him coming. It's a perfectly timed peek from Magic's side. Now he's got to go back up and cover off from long, though. That's where Body's coming in. Good headshot from him onto the AK-47 and Shocks. Oh, I just wanted to stay there for a minute. Does get away from this, though, MSL. He's actually gotten one kill and got away, but Shox does walk in and pull it back. 2 versus 2. 48 seconds left. A side, almost a full commitment at this point. Again, it is a very long rotation on Cobblestone. We know that. So it's Rubino and Config, both inside of the balcony position. And Config starting to backpedal here, considering that they might rotate over. They're not 30 seconds. We know they're going to go away. He has no idea.
Well, G2, this is exactly what they want, right? They just want to get some doubt into the CT's minds. They're watching the flanks as well, seeing if anyone's going to be coming behind them. So at this point, they probably know the CTs are going to be separated, coming in together. No grenades available for Dignitas whatsoever, so it's going to be them smoking off towards the connector. Molotov the balcony as well. That eradicates 2 possibilities for the CTs and sticking as a unit as they make their way to the site as well. Shox is able to watch balcony as he clears out the site and give them the call that it's all clear.
So with the bomb down, Shox silently works his way out toward long. He's starting to also have doubts as to where the second player could possibly be because he's taken so long to peek. Config will reveal himself in that pillar. I'm going to start calling that the Pillar of Death because people get behind it and seem to avoid the Grim Reaper every time.
Yeah.
Just eats the bullets up, and Config can't seem to be able to get the kill.
Well then, Dignitas, the lead is slipping away now after winning that first gun round. I did say every kill that G2 could pick up would be beneficial for them for that round especially. So Dignitas now on a full eco, potentially a double here. So they're going to get $1,900, yeah. Almost certainly a double eco. As we go into round number 6, which will give G2 round number 10. And then the one after, the X eco will be tying things up. Your favorite scoreline, Matt, as usual.
What do you mean as usual? It always is. There's no usual about that.
Or just every round.
It's just a factual thing.
Every game we cast.
Every game. It's going to be just Boy trying to fire back in and win that kill with the pistols. MSL will do better, and he's taken the initiative to go toward that AK. We often see people fade away from that and get back toward the site, play conservatively, but he takes the risk and he's got the reward. It's going to be on armor as well that he's picked up that AK-47, which could be beneficial. Body on 1 HP. Cajun B. Try and bait them in. Scream will be the first spotted. Rubino just needs to distract long enough. They're getting closer to that position that Cajun's in, and he actually gets a lovely shot toward body. He was low enough from that range. Badisc has done the early damage, but it doesn't matter because it is 11-10. And as you say, we could get that scoreline, Henry.
One can hope. We'll see how it works out because Dignitas, like I said, the double eco was a pretty obvious situation for them. It's going to be some upgraded pistols here. CZs, Deagles, 5.7s, bit of body armor for Magist Boy. And G2 not really having to bring out the AWP at this point. It hasn't been a threat against them. They haven't had to work against one. So this day stay with the 5 rifles and just keep working as a unit. You know this round's a pretty foregone conclusion. CTs can't really work into it too well.
No, definitely.
So a real stack coming in. 3 towards B, 2 at middle. It's pretty much a standard setup really. Trying to see if this Deagle can do anything at the start of the round. Occasion B, very good at that weapon, but it's going to be Config that drops first. His body. Let's talk about his form from him, Matt. What a tournament he had.
He was, man, he's great. I think that I wanted to point out as well that I thought Devil looked better in the role. And there was some debate within the team based on whether the roles change in Envious was better or not. But yeah, the body on the G2 side of things was phenomenal at times. Yeah, and I think he's been proving a lot to people because, I mean, I saw threads about it as well. People saying like I doubted this guy and he's proved me wrong as a critic of the team in general. So.
Well, we always said, you and I always had the discussion, we always felt like G2 got the better pickup out of Devil and Body. We always thought that, but it's not like we were saying, oh, Body's obviously amazing. We were saying it was the best of a bad situation, right? It was just like, what was the lesser of two evils at that point? It seemed like both were pretty questionable pickups, but Body has made himself into a very exciting player and someone who can perform in big games at LAN as well. He's really impressed me. Undoubtedly a top talent in the French scene and proved that in Kiev. Unable to take down NIP in the grand finals, of course, but still to get to that point without dropping a single map in that event was very impressive.
Yep. And interestingly enough, Astralis, we said whenever they lose in the groups, they go out in the groups to the team that wins the tournament. They beat Navi, they made it through the groups, they still went out to the team that lost the tournament.
They lost the tournament?
That won the tournament. Right. NIP beat them, and Astralis was the only team to get a map off NIP.
Right.
However, when you go from 27 and 10 in rounds in a series to 28 and 7, you kind of did that to yourself. I think was what the statistic was at. You'd have to look at it again, but I think that's what the numbers were. Right now, the numbers, well, it's 5 people alive.
Quite a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, 4 of them on one side. G2, Shock, Smith, Scream, RPK. Just waiting for the bomb to explode at this point in time, really. They're not going to bother hunting down. They are getting closer, but they're not getting aggressive about it. That 5-7. No need to give away guns to it, and RPK will not allow it. It'll go to 11-11.
Well, at this point, Dignitas do have money to invest. A double orb setup for them comes out. It will be Config and Cbble. I'll be interested to see whether they go for that aggressive hit. Config's got a decent support as well. Maybe that's why he picked it up. He wants to go towards mid. That's what he's facing for now. Cajun known to go towards that B side. I imagine Config. Okay, he's going towards B himself. What's the play here? Where's Cajun go? He's boosting at the start. Okay, they used to set up a LAN, so I remember spotting it as well. Cajun will go towards the APC. And it'll be similar to what we... Okay, let's get up there. There we go. And he'll go towards the APC and bait in towards long. It's similar to what we saw from G2 actually, but they had it the other way around. We had Smith watching middle and the other guy watching long A. This time it's more traditional. This is what this boost is you normally see from it.
Yeah, this is the traditional style. And as we see it, no one going his direction. They're all funneling like ants toward long. That's where Cajun B is going to have to hit the shots. That also means Magisk is going to have to turn around because he looked away. That's when they did show up. He hits the shot, falls down, committed to a 1 versus 1, essentially an isolated 1 versus 1 against Shox, and he's going to try and switch guns as he's lost ammo in his main rifle. Unfortunately, that cost him as Shox peeks it out timely. It's going to pull this back to the G2 advantage as well as their T side continuing to stack up rounds. MSL behind the APC. Desperate to find something with this M4. He's actually inside of the smoke, but Shox sees him coming through, and I think perhaps due to the crosshair placement, he would have seen it on the radar. It's now going to be Config. AWP, and he's out. He's got to go. He's got to leave.
You just saw, like we were saying, like Shox may not be in the ideal situation with his ping, but he's still outbraining people to that position. Like he's actually just watching Magisk Boy just panic and not even able to hit the shot. He's just facing, going, you know, they're coming from long as well. You've got to kill me. You've got to kill me. And then he just got to, when he had the USP coming out, he's kind of like taunted him, but he's like, well, come on then, we'll put you out of misery.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, it's true. It's good awareness because there was no way out of that situation other than winning that duel. And even then, it would have been play for the retake for Magisk.
Denying it. He knows he's only got 20 bullets in the M4A1S. Baiting them out, counting him as he goes, and you can hit the clicks as well now, of course. So when you start in the clicks, he has to pull the pistol out. He's just like, well, I've got him now. That's it.
Config managing to stay alive. You and Config are pretty good friends?
Yes. Here we go, well.
Yeah. Talked about hairstyles for a while.
He wasn't a fan of the hairstyle. I decided to use it at the after party. For some reason.
It's okay. But it is going to be a force buy brought out from G2. Actually, it's not really force buy. This is the 2 people that went down. And I meant didn't just, but the 2 people that go down go to the SMGs to go against this. This is quite smart from G2. So Dignitas going to rotate back, but that AWP that Config holds nearly finds an opening shot. With Cajun slowing them, he's still got a bit of an angle to play with, still some distance, but he can't land the flick toward the right. So therefore, Dignitas' force buy gets torn apart, and Magisk Boy trying to lurk in late. Rotate over from the A site, gonna get caught off by body. That's gonna make it now 4 players staying alive, and 13-11. The money back in the hands of G2, or rather, excuse me, from Dignitas. I keep saying that, I keep confusing them.
It's okay.
It's late.
You're tired for the weekend.
We're still recovering from last week, but the question is double up. They've got the money to do it. They don't do it. Okay, I'm a fan of not doing it, as you've already mentioned. It's not the map to do so.
It's one of those things, as soon as it's discovered and the terrorists know you have it, they just go back to set pieces, wall of smokes, and it's very difficult to retake the site. I would say, unless you're having an absolute stormer of a game, you've found an orb, I'd say just keep with 1 on the CT side. And G2 now, after losing that first half, 10-5, we did say if they got the pistol, they're straight back into it. They've proven to do so, 13-11 in their favor now. This is a huge round. CTs are a maximum loss bonus, but this is another full investment for them. They buy into the next round. They don't really have much to work with, I'm afraid. They'll have FAMASs and shotguns, maybe they need a recon at least. So need to be winning this round and keeping reasonable numbers up as well. At least 2 people need to survive. At least.
Well, we'll see if they can do better than that, potentially, Henry. Maybe they just win.
Yeah, well, they can win the round, but like I said, 2 have to survive, at least.
Config with a quick pop flash to cover off anyone at drop, but no one dropping just yet. They'll put flames out, so they have to play this passively. So thankfully, Rubino's on the other side of the window to aid in the cause of doing so. But without much information and without much found on the entrance, G2 is going to go back over toward the A site. However, as we mentioned, though, playing that double passive position toward the drop, usually it entails that if you include the second guy in window as a mid, it's a 1-1-3 setup toward B, which puts a lot of pressure in this situation on Magisk Boy. And he's got the information now as he was jumping, just spotted them in time, misses the jump, watch the wrap. Shox doesn't like to go all the way through. He stops at the doorway, that buys him time, but the flash through, MSL in the open, it's on to Magisk. He's got to pull his back, he does get Shox as he looks toward the balcony position. It's Config to follow it up. It's going to be a massive play for the young Dane. Unfortunately, he does go down to the end, but he does a terrific job considering he was solo on the site to allow his team back in. This gets 3 kills overall, and Cajun is going to bring this back to 12 now for Dignitas.
But still, look at the money for G2. This is the point I was making. Now they only kept 1 player alive. Let's see what the buy comes in from Dignitas here. So I think Cajun could drop 1 weapon, and they're forcing up around it. It's not as bad as I thought it would be, to be fair. There's only 1 UMP in the hands of MSL. They have got the orb as well. So it's okay. It's definitely workable. And we're going to round number 11. You can see a P90's come out for Shocks. I guess at this point, he's just like, you know what? I can't hit a barn door with the AK right now, considering the circumstance. So I'm just going to go in with the P90 and have some fun. Run and gun. Good old-fashioned technique.
That's a pretty interesting, bold try and spray down from that range. I don't even really know what he's attempting at that range from a P90. I can't put words to it. But you're right, it is a run and gun. It's going to be RPK that does better than that. He gets up close, body follows it up, and this is going to be a very bitter pill for Dignitas to swallow, considering the money.
This is, and considering the stage of the game as well. We're going into match point after this one. Full resets, they'll have no money. They either buy in and try and stop them, or they take an eco. They need a double eco anyway.
Yeah, so double eco means double game over, because it puts us on 16 if they don't win one of those.
Exactly. So what's the play? Force into this one, hope for the best. I think at this point, this is pretty much GG. You can't really win the game now, because they're going to get to 15. You still have to eco at that point. So they'll invest something into this round. Now they're forcing it. They have to force. It's the only option. It's the only option. So here we go. 5-7s, Deagles. And at this point, this is it. If they don't win this round, the game is over.
Double boost, drop, rush, get 2 kills, win.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think
That's
about that.
what I would do.
Yeah, I didn't think about that one. So you're right. There is always that.
Flash over, not really a relevant statement. It just prevents Config from trying to go for a fast peak, but as we know, he was not. The information we have as spectators is overwhelming, is it not? I think, thank you, that was, you read my mind, Rushley. I was gonna say maybe we should turn off X-Ray and have some fun with this one, but he's already thought of it. Rubino trying to cover off that drop room, flash down, smoke as well, peeks it and sprays through, hoping that someone does try and get in that position. Shocks has made it down on top of the pallet, masking the noise on the way through, and Config still just putting pop shots in toward Long. He gets obliterated, body on the way in. It's Rubino peeking back down the alleyway, and Body's gonna find that kill as well. So another good game for him in terms of kill totals, and Shocks, that P90 will pay off for at least 1 kill.
Why not? 50 bullets of death, and this time...
I don't even think they're bullets, they're troll teeth. It's just little tiny teeth inside of that magazine.
Just chip away at you and your soul.
Yeah, yeah. Unless you're Thorn and don't have one.
Just let that sit there for a second.
Or Slemmy.
Now you've definitely confirmed what you're getting at, so nice.
Yeah, yeah. Is there anyone else in the scene? I don't think there is. I read a statistic that within like 150 years there will be no more redheads because it's a gene that's actually being slowly biologically phased out.
Really?
Apparently. I don't know if that's true or not. I hope not, because redheaded women, when they're good, they're the best.
And on that bombshell, we go into round number 13.
Which is another force buy, as you said, this double eco situation.
They have no choice. That's why I said it's pretty much GG. They don't win this round because it's very unlikely. They're going to finish things off here with the CZ and 5-7s, no nades, no kits. It would be an absolutely crazy world we live in if this worked out for them.
Well, Rubino's going to try and do as he can with this, and this is exactly the play I wanted them to go for, the boost up. Why not just go ahead and try something audacious? It works for one. The smoke does not quite cover him off in its entirety. It allows Smiths to get it back, but as you've pointed out, Config's gone and grabbed an AK from this.
Yeah.
So he's got an AK and an aggressive push-up Long. It doesn't really matter when Shocks just jumps through, ping through the roof, doesn't matter, hits the kill.
Yeah, apparently so. It works out for him, but Cajun should get a kill here as well. This is quite sloppy from G2. It was Shocks trying to make the play towards the B, kind of convince me what's going on, but all of a sudden, Dignitas looked like they're in contention for this one. As they get a man advantage here, 3-on-2. MSL looking for one more, does damage. The Magisboy, has he done enough? Gets a kill from Long A, and I have to say, G2 maybe getting a bit ahead of themselves in this one.
Well, he's got to play the stride screen. He knows that going for that bomb is going to leave him vulnerable because it's a long walk over to that corner. So the first part of the puzzle that he's got to solve is finding out exactly where Cbble is, and smartly Dignitas are not going to commit to this. They're going to allow him to grab the bomb, try and go for the plant, and play this together. And it'll be try and get information for Cbble at the best case scenario, because again, he's the one on the AK-47 Scream. I almost want to see the cannons plant right now, but he's going to go for the corner safety, put himself so deep in the site that walking in from long, Majisco has picked up the second AK that's down, and they've got a crossfire set on to Scream, who's searching still for Cajun. Already slipping by, though. He's going to show himself toward that tree. Thankfully, gets away from it fast enough. Now they're both known. Now Scream's got the information. He can try and close this out immediately against Cbble, who again continues to walk toward the precipice of the site. And Scream, anticipating that he's going to wrap around, is waiting for it. Timing's not there, but he goes down regardless, and Cbble, he'll put us at 15-13.
Just about, yep. It's going to be the CTs now. One player alive, though, once more. Only saving that one AK. Still so much money available for G2. So, yeah, sure. Actually getting another round available for the CTs. But this is the round they need to win. If there's any chance of doing this, of course, they will have to lose. But this is the one where they can really be tested and give themselves a decent chance of doing it. So you got UMP, a FAMAS that saved AK. So it's actually reasonable. It's enough to work with. Huge round from Cajun to actually bring them into this one. 1v1 with Scream. I thought once that first player went down, Scream would have such an advantage with no nades on Cajun or a kit. He does manage to pull it off. Comes from them being a bit scrappy, though, I have to say. Sloppy, some would say, towards that B side is jumping in, and even though they're holding defensively, Rubino opened it up and made things interesting. Cotter was able to recover that AK as well. That was actually the thorn in that side towards the end of that round. But round number 14's here. They've gone the distance here as CTs holding further back towards the bomb site. You can see G2 actually getting full-on control. The bomb's still towards middle. They're not fully committed at this stage. Just want to be hunting out, see if there's any sort of stack or presence towards danger or middle. And Missile just got the UMP. He needs to be flashed in towards long if he's having a chance here. Has got a teammate with him. He's at the plate. Oh, the timing. That could be it right now.
That could be a huge problem for them. Rubino's got to rotate over, just gets through in time before the Flames do massive damage, but they stack up. Nade goes through. He's down to 35 before he even hits the ground, and when he does, Shox has already got the shovel well dug into about 6 feet under. It's going to be Cbble, that comes back out. And unfortunately, that's going to be it. They try to get back in, and Body and RPK just close them out. Bomb was already planted. So the first map of 2 go to G2, who I have to say, considering the excellent performance at the offline event at Star Ladder, considering the best final of the year was arguably the last Pro League final between them and SK that went 5 maps. Yeah. I want to see them make this season work. I want to see them at the LAN in that way.
What a good comeback, though, from G2 overall. The fact they go 10-5 down at the start, we said going on the T side.
T-side again.
Yeah, so you go on the T side. As soon as you win that pistol, definitely got a game in your hands. And
what do they have to do to fix the CT sides, though? Because if they could, wouldn't they be back to that, like, top 3 stat? I mean, easily in the top 3 status?
Definitely. 100%. If they fix that, they've got a perfect team there, right?
All right, listen. I was trying to make an interesting conversation, but
let those guys have it. That's going to throw it over to.
All right, fine.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Okie dokie, artichoke. So G2 again do the same old thing. We avoided it in the discussion, albeit because we had quite a short segment in the pre-match. But something that we will always find ourselves talking about with G2 is this tendency to, no matter what, have an atrocious pinch of salt CT side and to bring it back on the T side. It seems to be more often than not, they just blow up on their attacking side. And it seems that you were trying to explain how it could be a theory craft. It does seem to be eluding even, the CS minds.
Well, like it's not 10-5's not a horrible half on Cobble, like, but it's not great.
It's not great.
You'd probably want more of a 9-6 or 8-7. But I think it's just on that T side, they're just able to run everybody over with aim, and they're taking the jewels on their terms, right? So on the CT side, it looks like they're uncomfortable. They're getting forced in positions they don't really like, and then they're not hitting the shots that they need to. We were discussing before about them needing to play with more aggression, and you do see it sometimes on certain maps. And we did talk about before how it's hard to do aggression on Cobble. Yes. But maybe they could come up with some innovative strats to do some aggression and get an early pick, because they need something to invigorate their CT side.
Something.
Yeah, I would say, it's an easy punching bag to go to, but Smith's actually had a decent CT side. I think it could have been a little bit worse than it was. Just knowing previously, their downfalls, but their T side is just so strong. And when you get that in the back of mind, so no matter when you're watching G2, you always kind of sink into that mindset of, while there's still a T side to go, it doesn't really matter what deficit. As long as they get that pistol, I reckon as soon as they get it, get running, they're going to have a competitive game. For me, it was just a bit disappointing that at no point did Dignitas pull back the reins. They were constantly being run over, and I guess it's more of a question to you, but how do you stop a team who's purely depending on making those plays? Like, is there something that you just should fall back to, or is there no way to defaultly stop that?
we can take a gamble and call out a stack or something like that from Dignitas' side and hope you get lucky. But when you're versing a team that's just so powerful at taking duels like that, it's hard. Like you saw, they were just getting up really close and they were managing to multi-frag. And if you're not trading 1 for 1, you're always obviously going to be at a disadvantage. So I think Dignitas, obviously, they could have tried a couple of, you know, unusual plays, maybe a retake on that B site, played like heavy in connector and drop, and then waited out utility and slowly mowed through and cleared out that B site. But they were just taking the fights as normal, and it wasn't working out for them. So
is G2 kind of in a very elite group in terms of being able to get away with that, not needing the additional structure to find success on their T side, or are there quite a lot of examples of squads that can just take those fights?
My mind goes instantly to old Fnatic, you know, a team that would often say we don't necessarily depend on these set pieces on our T side. We have communication we can bank on and build from. So Olafmeister will provide something, you know, be wherever it is, he can provide something. Exactly, and he does it. And then they work off the back of it with communication, and they're confident, they know exactly how each other's going to play. Nowadays, probably not what you're going to see with Fnatic, because it's a new lineup, obviously getting used to each other, but I think they fall into somewhat of a category like that. I don't think you can say 1-to-1 it's too similar, but certainly to the same vein almost.
Okay, I mean, I think that sounds like a good comparison to make, actually. Something we didn't have a chance to talk about at Chad, I wanted to ask you, the fact that they played so recently in such a competitive environment, so Starladder, the same 2 maps that they're about to play here in the Pro League were played. It was exactly the same score, 16-13 both times. We've seen it replicated. Have you ever been in a scenario like that, or do you think that makes an impact when you know you've literally fresh in your mind played that exact team on that exact map? Does that influence the way that game's going to be played out? I'd assume so.
I think it definitely does. I think if you're the lower team, so Dignitas in this situation, you're probably going to try and change the way you're playing the game to adapt to G2's style. But if G2 are also adapting to the way that you play the game, well, then you're both kind of, you know, advancing the level of play. Or someone's going to get mind gamed. Someone's just going to play their normal style, and they're going to think ahead, and it's not going to work out for them. So I think that, you know, I said it was going to be a bit easier for G2. It's the exact same result, unfortunately. But that's my first one right on the desk. So
congratulations!
There we go.
No one else is keeping track, but he is.
I need to.
Okay. I think Henry's often quite competitive, so you guys can get a little tally chart going with your predictions. We'll be talking predictions after our break. Of course, we have Dust 2 to look forward to. It's another rematch. It was 16-12 last time these guys met in an offline environment on this map. Now they do it online here at the ESL Pro League. Before we go, though, you know what I'm going to remind you of. It is called, of course, the Score Esports application, available on your smartphone, on Android, and pretty much every smartphone you have, and of course on Google Play. And what's the other one called? iOS. Grab it on the App Store as well. You go grab that, and when we do come back, we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about Dust 2 between G2 and the boys from Dignitas.